Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited you're here. It's Faith, Life, Love with Bologi Stephen, and we're on episode 4 of pregnancy series, and trust me, this is going to be your favorite episode so far. But first, why haven't you subscribed? You enjoyed episode 1, 2, 3 and you have not subscribed. Can you please subscribe now? Thank you. Okay, so this is episode 4. Episode 1, episode 2 and 3 are on my channel. I put the link up for you so you can watch if you haven't watched. Thank you as usual for your feedback, your comments. I always enjoy hearing from you. Anyways, not too much gist. Today we're talking about labor and delivery and everything that happened on the 13th of May 2021. And guys, so before I start, right, when I go into my 3rd trimester, I started having like anxiety about labor. You know, I started having anxiety about a lot of things, really. I just started becoming very anxious about so many things. Like, I was worried about labor, about losing my baby, losing my own life, and all of that. And I told my husband, and we started praying about it. You know, we have a board in our room. If you watch episode 1, you would see it in one of the reactions. You know, so we just put scripture there, and I would just keep looking at it and reciting it and reminding myself, meditating on it. And it was also a period where there was just a lot going on in my country, Nigeria. A lot. So I had to guard my mental health as well. So I even stopped listening to news. I just, you know, yeah. But God helped me get through that anxiety towards the end, like towards my labor time. I was really good mentally, gratefully. So I really wanted to give birth on my 37th week. I'm like, baby, you're full term. Can you come out now? But he had other plans. So anyways, my EDD, that's my expected date of delivery. I think that's what it is. I don't remember knowing that, but I think that's what it is. Anyways, it was 16th of May. And I was like, look, child, you gotta come out earlier. I said, taking pineapple, nothing works. Disclaimer, by the way. Disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical practitioner. I'm here to share my experience with you and my opinion on some of the things. So please, this is a disclaimer. This is not professional or medical advice. Biko, I'm a lawyer. Oh, thank you and God bless. Anywho, so I was really tired at this point. I was really, really tired. I'm like, I'm ready for you to come out, child. I had my what's it called, antenatal appointment on the 13th, right? Hospital bags were packed. I had 3 boxes, yes, judge me. They were in the car. I was ready, and I just told my husband that, see, if this child does not come, my birthday is 14th of November, my anniversary is 14th of September, so I'm like, if this child does not come, when I go for antenatal on 13th, I'll just pack my things and sleep over, so that on the 14th we'll just, you know, induce and bring the child out, you know. Anywho, on the 12th we went on a stroll, walked around. It was quite a long stroll and everything, and we were just talking about, I'm ready, this child should just come and everything. Got back home and slept. Funny enough, that day we slept in the sitting room, which we usually do, so it was not like it was out of character. So we slept. By 3:45, I wake up to pee a lot because, I mean, pregnant woman, baby on top the bladder. And remember what I just did in last episode about peeing, but that's not the gist. So anyways, I woke up to pee. I went to the bathroom, or the toilet rather, and when I wiped, I saw a stain, and it was my mucus plug. Yeah, so it's one of the things that the mucus plug is what like closes your cervix, right? So it's one of the signs of labor. So when I saw it, I went to check the time. It was 3:45 a.m. I woke my husband up I'm like, babe, see. He's like, that's okay. That means you're in labor or something like that. And then he went back to sleep. Guys, he really went back to sleep. So me, I'm just like, ooh, okay. And then I came back, I took a picture of it. Yes, I'm that chick. And then I started Googling. How long after you see your mucus plug will labor come? And then I was seeing things like from a few minutes to some weeks. I'm like, which one is my own? No. Anyways, by like 4:30, I start having contractions. Now, before then, I told you guys in the last episode, I used to have Braxton Hicks, right? And every time you ask, how are contractions, like labor contractions, they will tell you that you will know. And it used to annoy me, the way when you ask married people, like, how did you know your spouse was the one? And they will tell you, you will know. It used to annoy me when I was thinking. Anyways, so I really used to wonder, like, will I really know? What if I don't? And then every time I was having Braxton Hicks, I'm like, is this the real one? How would I know if it's the... So, like I told you guys last week, my Braxton Hicks used to go from like my navel all the way down to my vagina, like sharp pain. But these contractions that I stay having by 4:30 a.m. they were actually textbook. So they were actually like menstrual cramps. I hadn't had menstrual cramps type of pain all through my pregnancy, right? So this was different. And then they actually came from my back. So what you would read, like what I had read about labor contractions were really what was happening. So it's good to read and just be informed. Yes, every pregnancy, every labor story is different. But it's good to have an idea of what you're expecting, right? That's tip number 1 for anybody who is here for the tips. So like they came from the back all the way to the front. By like 4:30, I'm like, okay. And then I started timing it. They were about 7 minutes apart, right? And then they were lasting for like 40-something seconds. So I was timing it. Maybe like after like 1 hour of them, I woke my husband up. I'm like, they are 7 minutes apart. He's like, okay. I went back to sleep. Me, I was just there Googling. I was just Googling everything, sha. So the sha kept coming, right? They were not very intense. They were just, they were quite mild, 7 minutes apart and all of that. So anyways, I had antenatal that day anyway, so I was going to go to the hospital. So I was just taking my time, waiting for the day to break. And I must say this, right? I really am grateful because God answers prayers. My hospital is not too close to my house, right? And the area in Abuja where the hospital is usually has a bit of traffic, if you know Gwarimpa. So one of my prayers was, I didn't want to go into labor in the midnight. Like, I didn't want to drive to the hospital in the midnight. And I didn't want traffic. And I was particular about those prayers, really, because I really didn't want to drive in the night. And God really answered it for me because, number 1, I started labor early in the morning. So I went to the hospital like in the morning. And secondly, it was public holiday. So there was really no traffic. Now, back to the house. So day breaks. I joined this online prayer. There's this group I'm in, PWC, Prayer Women's Circles, right? So there's prayer they have every morning. I joined. I gave a request like, oh, I'm in labor, right? So just pray for me. We prayed. My husband finally woke up. Like, all these were guys legit. This guy was sleeping. He finally woke up. Oh, he woke up. We had our bath. He made breakfast for us. I ate. When the contractions come, I'll just, they were still mild. I changed my handbag. Remember, my hospital bag was already in the car. And all of that. Just taking our time, getting ready. I really didn't want to go to the hospital and then they'll tell me to go back home. It's not yet time, right? So, by like 10-ish, 10:30, we left the house for the hospital. When we're in the car itself, we even took picture. I made this video. I'm going to born my child. We are going to born our child. I'm just tired. Yeah, as you can see, I'm excited. I'm going to see my baby boy soon. I'm going to see my baby boy soon. See how I'm even looking fresh, if I do say so myself. I beg for the next contraction coming from that, see my real face. So yeah, I made that video. You could see when the contraction came as well. Got to the hospital and yeah, they thought I was here for routine antenatal. So my husband told them I was having contractions, right? So they called me. My hospital, they are very funny. They will say Mrs. Bologi Stefan, Mrs. Madam Stephen, Madam Stephanie, Madam. So they called Madam Stephen. I went, I took my vitals, everything was fine. Guys, I was weighing 62 kg. 9 months pregnant, 62 kg. Anyways, so I was weighing 62 kg, everything was fine. I went to see the doctor, told the doctor that I was having contractions. Doctor asked if I had seen the plug. I said yes. He said it was stained with blood. I said yes. He said, okay, that means you're in labor. Has your water broken? I said no. So he said, quick, go do a scan. So went to do a scan. My baby was fine, he was still moving. He was about 3.5 kg or so in the scan. So after that, the doctor said to go to the labor room. Yes, I forgot to tell you. So in the morning, when in that whole morning period, my husband was sleeping and I was just awake, you know, praying, reading, googling, getting ready, I sent a message to my family group and I was like, I'm in labor or something. Like, yeah, I said I'm in labor, but everybody calm down. When we get to the hospital, I'll let you know. So once they said I should go to the labor room, I just told my husband, call my mother. Call my mother. I need her here. So I went to the labor room. I got there. They put me in the robe and everything. I lay down and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually it. So the doctor came in to check how far dilated I was. Now guys, please, this video, I'm sharing my experience with you guys. It's not intending to scare anybody, especially if you're currently pregnant or whenever you get pregnant watching this. It's not to scare you, it's just telling you my experience. Remember that my experience doesn't have to be your experience. It's gist, is also preparatory. For some people, it's information. For some others, you know, and all of that. And it's also what to pray against if you don't want a particular part of my experience. Just putting it out there. So the doctor came to check how far dilated I was. And guys, this is the part they don't tell you. That checking of dilation, it was painful. So the doctor checked. She put her hand. And I think she couldn't check. She was having a little trouble checking. Put her hand out, put it back, and then she said something about having a posterior cervix, right? Eventually she was able to check. It was really painful, and she said I was 5 centimeters dilated, which was great. You know, I'm like, okay, halfway gone, because you get to 10 and that's active labor for you to push, right? I'm like, oh great, halfway done, right? So the MD of the hospital who's practicing, she came in and she told her, the doctor told her that I was 5 centimeters dilated, and she asked me if my water had broken. I said no. So she's like, okay, she'll break it. So she puts her hand again, another pain, yes, and uses something, does this clip and woof. You know when like in movies like your water breaks, right guys? So basically it's the amniotic fluid that was housing the baby. It's coming out. Guys, I think it's hot. Well, kind of, it's warmish hot. And it was a lot. Like it kept pouring for hours, right? And I had to lie on my left side. That's the safest position to be. So they hooked me up to like monitors and everything, monitoring my vitals and my baby's heartbeats and everything to make sure all was well.
So how is it going, ma'am?
It's going good.
I can see your mouth. What's this in your hand? Okay. To add to the contractions. Okay, that's good. You're looking fine. You are doing well. We are proud of you, sir. So that this boy knows, in case you want to misbehave, you were there. You were there, and I was there as well. Never forget, young man.
So, as you can see, my husband was busy doing cameraman work. Contractions were still coming. They were a bit more painful than before. But I was doing well. You know, there was a nurse, two nurses were there, coming and going, checking on me, checking on my vitals, my baby. They were actually very helpful. You know, they made me feel at ease. It was really great, to be honest. I liked my nurses, my labor room nurses, right? And you know, we're just gisting, sha. When the contractions come, I will calm down from the gist. They tell me sorry. My brother was there. He came. He left. My mom had arrived. She came. She'll come in, check on me, go out to the room that they had prepared for me. I told my husband to tell my girls. You know them now. You saw them in the previous episode. To tell my girls that, you know, I'm in labor and all of that. Contractions kept going and all of that. About 2.5 hours after they had checked, the MD came back and she was like, how am I doing? Everything fine? Okay, she's going to check again. And she was like, you know what? Let her just go get her equipment so that if the baby's ready, we'll just take delivery. So I'm like, you know. So she went, she comes back, she checks. And I'm 8 centimeters dilated, which is great. I mean, we're almost there, right? This is active labor. So contractions are really strong at this point and all of that. And I'm like, okay, I got this, I can do this. So when they come, I'm like breathing in and out, you know, and all of that. When they go, we gist again. My husband is there. He's also helping, like giving the nurses everything, what the baby would wear, like the first outfit, all the things in the hospital list that he had requested for, make sure my room was ready and all of that. And so we're just there. My brother-in-law and my sister-in-law came. That's my husband's older brother and his wife. They come, they check on me, they make me laugh. Emma is a vibe. Made me laugh, you know, just put me at ease. It was really great, to be honest, to have, you know, people like that. Contractions will come again and knock me off. So at this point, okay, so my husband calls the consultant at the hospital. He had been the one I'd been seeing regularly for my antenatal, and he had said when I was unable to call him. So he gave me a call and he's like, okay, he's coming to the hospital. So a few hours after that earlier 8 centimeter, now at this point, contractions are strong. And they are about 1 centimeter apart now. 1 centimeter apart now. And they're just really strong, right? They're getting really intense. I wasn't screaming, but like they were crazy at this point, and they were lasting for a whole minute. And they were about a minute, max a minute and a half apart. So the consultant comes, right? And he's ready to check how dilated I am again. This is about 2.5 hours again after that previous 8 centimeter. And he puts his hand to check. At this point, it's painful again. At this point, I actually screamed because it was really painful. And he says his face changes. I know how doctors do that. I don't know if you know. but they are trying to put you at ease, right? But I'm reading his face. So his face changes, and the first doctor that talked about the posterior cervix is in the room. And he says, cervix, and he's, you know, I'm like, okay. And when he finished checking, which was really painful, I screamed. He removed his hand. I was still 8 centimeters. Now, I should have been ready to like push. And they're telling you, oh, when you want to pull, let us know. When you want to pull, let us know. And at some point, I actually felt like I wanted to pull, but it wasn't like a strong urge, right? So it wasn't like time to push. And then I was 8 centimeters dilated. And again, I saw his face. So he says, excuse me. And he steps out with the other doctor. And then they come back in, and he says that my cervix was still posterior and inadequate, and that if I go into labor right now, I can have a tear, like a very serious, all the way to the anus tear. But that what they would do is that they would give me another 2 hours and watch me. And if I'm still 8 centimeters dilated, then they will take me to the theater for CS. And so usually you'd find that doctors like to use CS as a last resort, except if it's an emergency. They like to see how you can actually do vaginal. And my husband and I wanted a vaginal delivery. We really wanted a vaginal delivery, right? But it wasn't a case of if I have to do CS, I will insist on vaginal. Please, women, anybody watching this, please, whichever way you give birth, a healthy mother and a healthy baby is all that matters. You are not less of a woman if you give birth by CS. Your child is not less of a human being if it came out by CS. I came out by CS, and I'm a whole human and then some. Please, let's not lose lives to that archaic mentality. And we're wrongly quoting the Bible to say you want to be a Hebrew woman, and there is a reason why you should do CS, but you're insisting on vaginal. Women have lost their lives and lost their babies. Even last year, I still heard a story. Please, I'm just putting it out there in case some people are doing it for their mothers or their mother-in-law, or some husbands insisting. Please and please and please. God gave doctors the wisdom for cesarean section so that we can save lives. Thank you. Back to my gist. So when the doctor says this and leaves, my guys, that's when I lost it and I started crying. All this time I'd been a strong woman though. At this point I started crying. My husband was beside me. I said, babe, I can't. I started crying. My A1 in WAEC mass, I said, babe, 2 more hours. I was having contractions every minute. I said, that means I'm going to go through 120 more at least of these contractions. And at this point, they were really intense. But do you know what was scaring me the most? That they will still put their hand again and check dilation. No. I could have managed the contractions, but not that dilation one. And I just started crying. I'm like, babe, I can't. And he was like, what do you want? I said, let's go for the CS, but I'm scared. I won't lie to you guys. Because a surgery is a surgery at the end of the day. I said, I'm scared. And he said, babe, you'll be all right. You'll be fine. Nothing will happen to you. And then Mrs. M.M. Ali entered the labor room. My mother is a vibe. If you don't know that my mother is a vibe, you need to scroll. In fact, I'll put the link here. We did a family tag game. You need to watch it. You will see that my mother is a vibe. Just click and watch. So my mom comes into the labor room and she says, Bobo, how far? And I told her what the doctor said. Now, a little story. My mom had a similar experience. With her pelvic was narrow, right? So she had to do CS for the 3 of us. So for the firstborn, because she didn't know, she had been in labor for 19 hours before, they found out that pelvic was narrow and she did the CS. For me, I'm the second. She still had a little, labor time, it was our last born that she just picked her date, strolled in and gave birth. So she was like, Bobo, that's what happened to me. There's no need waiting. What are we waiting for 2 hours for? Nothing will happen. You are okay. Are you ready? Ha! Action woman. My husband has told me I'm okay. My mother has told me I'm okay. Ha! The Lord has spoken through them. I'm okay. She just said, nothing will happen. Okay? We can't. What are we waiting for? Are you ready? Just said, yes. She said, I'm coming. Let me go and tell the doctor. Ha! So she goes out to tell the doctor, and they bring the consent form for my husband to sign. Because it's surgery, he has to sign it. So he signs it. And then they say we should wait for the anesthetic. We wait a bit. I'm still having all these contractions. So the anesthetic comes in, and I like him. You know, he tried to put me at ease, tried to explain to me how it's gonna be, what it's gonna be like, and all of that. So I'm ready. I would hear later that my mom, my friends are here, by the way, at this point. I don't know, right? This is what I'll find out. My friends are here. So my mom goes to the room and tells them they're about to wheel her to the theater. Or they're outside. My mom tells them they're about to wheel her to the theater. And Mimi, my friends are like, okay, mommy, we are in the room. We are praying. See, get yourself warriors. Friendship is not just, I like you, let's just gist, let's go for a movie, let's chill. Nope. Get yourself warriors. People that will stay all night if you need them to. Worrying for your life. This is something we've done. This is something we always do. Mimi is just like, mommy, okay, we are in the room. We are praying. Ha! See, the people I have in my life, God bless them for me. Anyways, so they wheel me to the theater. I don't even remember if I saw anybody while they were wheeling me. I get into the theater and the anesthetic comes. He gives me the anesthetic in my back, right? In my spinal. It's spinal anesthetic, right? And immediately gives me, I start feeling cold. This is another thing they don't tell you. I start feeling really cold. And one thing I was doing, everything I was feeling, I was telling them. Because I don't know what is normal and what is abnormal. I haven't done this before. So everything I was feeling, I was telling them. I was telling the doctor, I'm feeling cold. So the anesthetic didn't leave. He was just like by this side. And they blocked here. So I couldn't see my waist down, which was the surgery place. I was numb from waist down, but I was awake. So I told him, I'm feeling cold. He said, yes, it's the AC, one thing, and I was naked as well. I started feeling really cold, like really cold. They started prepping everything, cleaning up. I could feel, like, I couldn't feel, but I could feel. I don't know how to put it. Like, I could feel them, like, do this, but I can't feel the pain, right? So I'm feeling them, you know, doing, blah, 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 blah. And then I think they were about to cut me. And then the doctor, which is my consultant, says, where's her husband? So they let my husband come in. He had been watching from outside the door. So he comes in, he stays by my head space, by this side. So we're just, me and him are talking. And I'm like, okay, so can you see? Okay, what are they doing now? And I'm still shivering, like I'm really shivering. It was really cold. So they cut me and everything. And my husband is like narrating what's going on. And I hear the cry of my baby. Guys. See, I can't explain how I felt at that point. I heard him cry and everything was just fine. Everything, the world was okay. Oh my God, Bologi, don't do this. Legit, this was what happened. Like, immediately I heard him cry. Tears just started coming down my face. I'm just like, my baby's out. And tears just started coming down my face. Like, it was like, they'll tell pregnant women that once you give birth, you forget. I did not forget, obviously. I did not forget anything. I think what they should tell pregnant women is, once your baby comes out, it's all worth it. I did not forget. I remember all my pain and struggles, like I just told you. But once I heard my baby cry, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Am I ready to do it again right now? Nope, not yet. I need to drink water on this one. but it was all worth it. And I was just like, my baby, my baby, my baby. And 6:16 p.m. on the 13th of May 2021, Ethan came out. Ethan Stephen, Ethan Heinom Tsongi Soko Stephen was born. And he cried, and they brought him this way, and they said, "Mommy, see your child, what is he? What is, you have to identify the sex of your baby, basically." So we said a boy, you know, and then they took him away. And then my husband left briefly, and then I heard my family members in the hall. I just heard them shout. I'll show you a clip of them receiving the new daddy.
Yes, we can't touch you. Sorry. I'm so excited. No, you are one of the moments, sir. Congratulations, sir. Your son is here.
Your son awaits you, sir.
So as you can see, we're not a very quiet bunch. So they just like received him, obviously, and he saw the baby briefly and came back in with me. And I think bringing out the baby is actually very quick. Less than 10 minutes in the theater, like between 5 and 7 minutes, the baby is out. And the next thing is to stitch me, which is what takes more time. So they were stitching, and I was asking my husband, so what are they doing now? He said, oh, they just stitched this place. Oh, they are putting the bladder and everything inside. Oh, and then the doctor showed him my uterus, which has been the most amazing part to my husband, how it shrunk. And so they're just like stitching and everything and all of that. The anesthetic is still there to make sure I'm fine. My husband is here. He's just like holding my hand, telling me what's going on, like walking me through the process. And they finished stitching me, and they're done and everything, and it's time to go out. So my husband goes out, and they're wheeling me out, right? And well, there's nothing to say, just see.
Please, no permission to slap her.
Sorry. Who is this?
Just keep smiling like that.
So that's how they wheeled me out. I hadn't seen my baby beyond that time, so they took me to the room. I couldn't move. They told me not to move so that I don't have a spinal headache because of the anesthesia. So the only thing I was allowed to do was do like this and do like this. So my friends, most of my family and friends at this point had gone. So I had, my mom was there, my brothers were there, my help was there, and my sisters, my tribe, they were there. Have you seen our video? It's on my channel too. They were there. My aunt, that's Maddie's mom, was there. My brother-in-law, his wife, were there. Our mentors, Ochuli and Julia Kutepa, were there. I think those were the people. I hope I'm not missing anybody. Basically, so we're all there, and by the time they wheeled me into the place, they just stayed a few minutes, saw me. I couldn't even carry my baby because of the CS and the anesthesia. You know, I couldn't carry my baby. I couldn't move. I was just like this and trying to talk to them. And I did a video call with my sisters that were not there. Winnie was not around, so we did a short video call, and then they brought my baby in. They brought my baby into the ward, and I'm just seeing them wheel my baby. And at a point again, I couldn't carry my baby, so my mom brought him to me and just like laid him on my arm. I couldn't like properly see him, but she just laid him on my arm so at least I could feel him. Obviously I couldn't breastfeed that day. I couldn't eat, guys. I couldn't eat. I was so hungry, but I couldn't eat. So they were telling, they just told me to like drop water on my tongue, and then they said until I could fart. When I can fart, then I can take pap and pepper soup, like just little liquids. Guys, I've never seen celebration. When I farted, I'm like, guys, I just farted, and everybody's like, yay! This life is funny. I was like, yay! So that was when I could take like pap and all of that. I think that was like the next morning or so, and I had to move to another room the next day. So the next day the nurses came and cleaned me up. Remember, I gave birth in the evening. They cleaned me up and all of that, and they moved me to the other room upstairs, right? And moved my baby as well. So got to the other room, started getting better, small. I was, you know, regaining myself, or at least feeling, you know, of course I was on meds and pain relievers and all of that. But yeah, this is not a postpartum gist. Maybe I will do a 4th trimester video. Let me know in the comments if you want a 4th trimester. 4th trimester is the first 3 months of your baby's life, right? If you want a 4th trimester gist, put it in the comments and I will give you if I see that you want it. I want to deliver. So yeah, if you want a 4th trimester gist, just put it in the comments and I'll do a video for that. So yes, that is my labor and delivery gist, guys. That's the gist. That's how my baby came, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I don't take it for granted one bit. Women die giving birth to their babies. Women go into the labor room and lose their babies. So I don't take it for granted that I went in and I came out. And I'm encouraging, especially if you are pregnant watching this video, not to have anxiety. Just give everything to the Lord, pray, and let the peace of God fill your heart, and just let God assure you that you will bring forth. Another thing that helped my heart is God had given me promises about my child, right, through his names. And I'm like, God, you cannot give me the names for this child and the child will not be alive to fulfill it. You know, so the word that God gives you helps to hold your heart, right, in those times. So that's my labor gist, guys. That's it. Did you learn anything about labor that you didn't know? Anything really? Did you learn anything about labor? Did you have a similar experience or anything similar at all? Did you learn anything surprising about the whole labor thing? Let me know in the comments. Guys, guess what's happening next week? Our grand finale of the pregnancy series. Guess what's happening? I am bringing Sir Babe. I am bringing Mr. Daddy. I am bringing the husband to tell you. Most times when we're pregnant, we think that these men don't experience it, but they experience pregnancy a whole different way. So I'm bringing Mr. Husband to tell you his own side of the story. Remember, he was in the labor room and he was in the theater when they were cutting me. So there's a part of this gist that is only him that can tell you. So you don't want to miss it. And if your husband has not been watching this video, or your boyfriend, or your male friend, or your brother, you need to get them to watch, especially next week's episode. So guys, I haven't forgotten the question some of you asked. I'm thinking of doing a separate video answering the questions, or I would answer them before next week's video, like before my husband takes up his part, or I'll do an Instagram live answering the questions. So if you have a preference, I don't mind hearing them in the comments, and by next week we'll know what I'm going to do anyways. So guys, thanks for chilling with me. Thanks for sharing my journey with me. Thanks for being in the comments and just, you know, speaking with me. I love speaking with you. Don't forget to subscribe. If you did not subscribe in the beginning, I'm saying it again, subscribe. You subscribe, great. Now like this video. Like it. Good. Good. Now, comments. If you don't have anything to say, just say hi. But yeah, don't be a coconut head. Great. Now, the last thing you do, share it to at least 2 people. We need at least 2 people from you. 2 people. Evangelism. Oh yeah, 2 people. Share the link. Alright guys, see you next week. It's Faith, Life, Love with me, Bologi Steven. I love you guys and Jesus loves you. Bye. The anesthetic, I don't even know if that's what we call him. Anesthetic, right? Anesthetic, anesthetician. Have you started? Hi guys, welcome. Okay, for pregnancy series. Again. Why?
Start again.
Count for me.
3, 2, 1.